Welcome to Love at Lunch. My name is Leona Devin. I'm a coach and facilitator from Calgary, Canada, and I am delighted to be here. Today, we're going to talk about how to prioritize. So, it's a Monday back from a week off for me, and what is the first thing that you think I would do when I got to my desk? Of course, I would answer the 200 emails that are in my inbox and get moving with that. But not today, my friends. Today we're talking about ultimately how to create your best life by being intentional. And today, from my book, Finding Your Joy Spot, we're talking about what is important versus urgent. This is the work of Greg McKeown in his book, Essentialism. And so often we get dragged around by life. So I'm going to talk about 2 ways, just 2 today. I'm going easy, no 5-figure plan here to prioritize in order to be intentional about creating the life that you will love. And so the premise today was thinking what's important and what is urgent. So before I went on my holidays, I created a checklist for what each Monday morning needs to include. I laminated it and even use a little erasable pen so that I can be using it every Monday. And so that I stay focused on what is important. And today I may have sat down at my desk at 7:30, but I did not check email until 9:30 because my entire goal is to focus on what is important versus what is urgent. So there may be things in your life that when you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to do that. Check in. Is it important or is it urgent? I am a big lover and proponent of sleep. That is important to me, but urgent things can get in the way. What last thing needs to be done before I get into bed? So I want you to audit. Think of a typical day. Think of even what this morning has looked like and think of, ooh, was that important? Or was that something that felt urgent, so it got my attention? And so be very intentional, set some plans, and focus on what is important. So each day you're coming in, and if you need to make a list as well in order to stick with what is important so that you're not dragged around into busy and overwhelm and lack of intention by what appears urgent, then start to vet, is this important or does it appear urgent? I write in this chapter of my book about how often I'll be finishing off a text or an email while my kids were telling me something when they lived at home, and I think, what's important? And what's really pulling at me that's urgent but's not important? So thinking about that, important versus urgent, audit your life, create a focus and a plan to really be with what matters, what's meaningful, and those are important things, and you get to decide when you address those urgent things. And if you just emailed me, I'll be answering you later today. Next, and this might sound very weird, but this is something that I learned early on as a coach, and my coach made me do. I wrote out my own eulogy. How joyful for a Monday morning. And I'll tell you why this is so important, because we know from some of our most famous business writers, etc., Stephen Covey suggests with any project, begin with the end in mind. So the ultimate thing that helps us decide what is important is writing out our eulogy. Don't you want to be my friend? And so when we write out our eulogy, or you can write your obituary, they're shorter, it really helps us to be reminded. I write in this chapter that Leona was someone who spent time texting and returning emails promptly. Is that what I want? That is not what I want. Yes, I want to be respectful, but ultimately, I want to be here for people. I want to help people live their best lives. And I do that, number one, by living my best life, by being an example. That's what integrity looks like to me. And I keep that end in mind. How do I want to be remembered? What really matters? What do I want to focus on? Would people know what I want my eulogy to read like if they had a little bird's eye view into my life right now? I sure hope so. So, important versus urgent. Audit your days, make a plan, and focus on what is important, and don't let urgency and its wailing sirens come and get you. You have control over this one precious life. And then, in addition to that, consider writing out in your journal your eulogy. And I would suggest reading it often. I would suggest sharing it with a friend. All of a sudden, we're going to have social media lighting up with our joy spots of eulogies. But that really helps us to commit and begin with the end in mind. When I think about what I want my life to be filled with and be remembered for, that helps me vet even more impactfully what is important to me. So, just today, I talked to 2 people who have loved ones who died in their 40s. I write in this chapter in my book about time I spent with my coach before she passed away. She was, I believe, 51, and I was such a blessing to spend some time with her, but she really had her priorities straight because she was living on the edge. And in a sense, sorry to bring this up on a Monday, we're all heading in that direction. So create a life intentionally each and every day and fill it with what is important and what really matters. That's where your joy spots are. Blessings, love, love, love to all of you. Wishing you a wonderful, wonderful week. If you did not get a chance to watch this, you can watch it on YouTube at Leona Devin, or you can rewatch it here, or you can read chapter 31 of my book, Finding Your Joy Spot, and that'll reiterate that as well. So lots of love to you all. Happy Monday.